I realized the first time I played that it didn't work right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the Chinlock, DigitalDailyFix.com's weekly episodic wrestling podcast here on Spreaker.com. And we began everything with 10 gongs of Undertaker's bell because of the unfortunate and sad news that Paul Bearer had passed away due to a blood clot complication at the age of 58. Usually don't start the show on somber notes, but hey, Paul Bearer was a very big part of professional wrestling and very big part of what we experienced growing up personally, as the four guys here on the Chinlock can attest to. So when somebody with that big of an impact passes, it deserves to have some form of special moment. But as I said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I myself, Smitty, joined by Helmick, Tim, and Howard, and we're here to talk wrestling, as we always do.
And death.
And yes, and death. So there you go.
You said that with such, like, a positive attitude.
Absolutely.
And death.
Well, why not?
We could just watch Taylor Swift videos for the whole show.
No. Not going to do that.
Okay, well, just a suggestion.
We did that enough on Friday. There's a decent amount of stuff to talk about this evening, sir.
Yeah, not really.
No, nothing. There's nothing. What? Then we shouldn't have even started this recording. Is that what you're saying?
Well, Skype clearly didn't want me to be in on the week's edition of the Chinlock.
Well, Skype wasn't giving us issues.
Well, it was giving me a problem. I had to restart my computer and, like, do a whole bunch of crap. It wasn't working for me.
Stupid crap.
Was it kicking you off as soon as you were signing on?
Well, it did that, and then it wouldn't, like, my password wasn't, like, I have it to automatically sign me in whenever I turn my computer on, and it didn't, and then I got it to work, and then it immediately signed back off, and then for some reason I couldn't I couldn't remember what my password was, or it just, I don't know, it was just really weird. I had to restart my computer, change my password, and then I logged in and it finally came on. So,
Hooray!
Yay, I guess.
Fantastic.
Well, I'm glad that you made it.
Yes.
At least somebody is.
I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I can't blame you for that.
Well, we can't have everybody all happy-go-lucky.
I'm not happy.
Well, you had to go through all that trouble.
Yeah, well.
But it was well worth it.
Yes, because now we're all here for the Chinlock.
Yay.
Yay.
Good for us.
I know.
Good night, everybody.
It's also great that this is the week that I watched Impact for the first time in a while, and we're not talking Impact.
You could talk about it if you wanted.
I may talk about like the two bits that I saw that I thought were bad, and there was only two, but we can get to that in due time.
If we feel like it.
If we feel like it. I mean, I know there's something tonight, and I don't know. They're probably doing like a house show or something.
It's probably something that doesn't make any money, so...
A magazine.
Yeah.
There's a magazine on pay-per-view tonight.
Yes. Magazine reading on pay-per-view tonight, brought to you by Dixie Carter.
Read by the boy.
And then there's going to be a segment where Dixie Carter reads Hulk Hogan's contract and how it completely fucked her. Or she fucked herself by agreeing to it.
Well, she fucked the contract.
She will fuck a contract tonight on pay-per-view.
Maybe more than one.
Maybe
at the same time.
Hey, double contract. Well, how did we go from Paul Bearer to this?
Hey, Timothy, what time is it?
Yeah.
No. We're still talking about contract sex.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, guys. I try to horribly force
double paper penetration.
Double pay-per-view penetration.
Oh, pay-per-view. Oh.
Okay, I'm done. No! can move on now.
Are you sure?
I don't know,
Wait,
we can
hold on.
always-
Wait. Let me check. Hold on. All right, now I'm sure it's news.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say we can always talk about how Bill Moody, whose career started as Percy Pringle, as a character who was pretty much a total ripoff.
Total ripoff of who?
Because his character's name was Percy Pringle the Third, and there were actually two Percy Pringles before him, but they weren't really well known at all. And his character as Percy Pringle was essentially a complete ripoff of Bobby Heenan.
I never saw much of him as Percy Pringle, except for like brief, like highlight stuff recently. So
And it's usually with Rick Rude too, I bet.
yes, a lot of the stuff was involving Rick Rude. So I don't have a firm grasp on that. I only mainly know him as the various incarnations of Paul Bearer.
Oh, well, maybe you should firmly grasp it.
He can't. He can't take the brass ring, otherwise, because Vince will want it back.
What? That's
Zack Ryder.
yeah, I know. I got that. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I can state about Paul Bearer, Percy Pringle, Bill Moody, whichever you want to call him. I got the opportunity to get a picture with him at last year's WrestleMania. He was a part of the Undertaker's cemetery. They had this thing set up that was all enclosed, and you go in, and it's every tombstone from every WrestleMania. And
Which I thought that was pretty neat.
yeah, and in the center of everything was Paul Bearer up on the small stage. You can get up and get something signed and a picture with him, which the picture got uploaded to WWE.com. You're given a card and you can pull the picture up later. And it was cool because not only was he signing stuff and just taking pictures, he was socializing with people because the line was short and everything. So it's not like I had a full conversation with him, but in the brief time that I got to speak with him, I got the very firm impression that he is an incredibly nice guy when it comes to associating with fans, and he has a reputation in professional wrestling itself as just being a genuinely nice person that everybody got along with and enjoyed his company. And I remember him talking about the bus ride that he took to the arena that day for WrestleMania Access, and how they stuck him in a seat next to Mark Henry. So it was brief, but he's just like, because I was wearing my Hall of Pain shirt, and he walked up and goes, "Oh, you're a fan of Mark Henry?" I said, "Yeah, I enjoy him a lot." He goes, "Oh yeah, on the way here, they actually sat me and him in the bus together. We were sitting there like this," and he put like his arms close together, and he made like this really scrunched up face, and was really funny. And then he signed everything, nice to meet you, and shook his hand, got a picture with him. And in the picture, I tried to do my shittiest impression of the Paul Bearer face. But yeah, he told the brief story about how they were there scrunched up next to each other, and I just thought that was hilarious. A lot of wrestling interactions I've had have varied from like cool stuff like that to guys that you could tell like they weren't being mean, but like by the time you got to them in line, they were just kind of over it for the day. And he was one of the guys that's up there. Him and Jericho are like two of the nicest people I've met getting autographs from. But that's my only time ever meeting him. And then everything else is just watching him on TV and watching him interact with being a heel and a face and Undertaker, being with Undertaker, being Kane's father, being shoved off ladders and kept in freezers and buried in cement. And
Was he struck by lightning at one point?
he might have been struck by lightning. I know he was thrown in a sewer by Steve Austin.
The fireball to the face.
Took a fireball to the face. He's been known to have dead bodies in his home.
He got knocked unconscious and dragged through the carpet by the Undertaker and got carpet burns.
Yes. So he's had a lot. He's had a heavy involvement. And before this was all announced, like I had several like time just thinking about, well, how much longer does Undertaker have and everything, and it reminded me of a story that broke like a couple years ago when Undertaker said that when it is his final WrestleMania and it is his final match, he wanted it to be with Paul Bearer. Like, he wanted Paul Bearer to come out. He wanted the urn. He wanted everything to commemorate his last match. And now it's kind of sad to know that will never happen. Like, maybe there will be a video. Maybe he'll come out with an urn and he'll wear the old get-up. Not this year, or who knows.
Yeah, I would like to see for him to come out at Mania with holding it.
Yeah.
And then having it at ringside. I think that would be a nice little nod.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Paul Bearer had talked about in a video with Ring of Honor when he was talking with Jim Cornette about how, Undertaker, if it was ever going to happen, whenever the last match happened, he said Undertaker would probably come out in the old getup, the old gray gloves and the boot covers and whatnot, and the tie. So there's that thought as well.
And I think if he does that, though, I think he's going to want to grow the hair out. And right now he's bald, so
I think I can forgive him.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like him.
Well, not only would he have to grow it out, he'd have to keep it red because it was red then.
Like I feel like not from my standard. I mean, if he just came out in it and wanted to do that as an honorable thing for his last match, that's perfectly fine. Like I'm not gonna judge that, even if he's bald. I was saying from his standpoint, he seems like a guy that if he were to go through with it, he would want to have the entire original look, and he would want to have the hair. That just like from his that just seems to me like that would be his own personal preference. But I could be completely wrong. He could just be like, just give me the old shit and I'll wear it. Which I'd be completely fine with. Give him the gloves, give him the tie, give him all
a
that
body
stuff.
bag.
Huh?
Give him a body bag.
Give him a body bag. Would it be in bad taste if, like, he rolled out a coffin with an urn on top of it?
Yeah, probably.
No.
And then, like,
I say yes.
That's a big discussion right now, but I'm on the fence of no.
Like, I'm not saying like right now.
It would depend on when he would. To me, I think it would depend on when he would do it. If they were going to be something that they were going to be doing this WrestleMania, then I would say yes. But if it's something where you're looking at, 2 or 3 years down the road, I think I think the timing would be much more.
What is your preferred way for the Undertaker to honor Paul Bearer, like whether it be Monday or at this year's Mania? Like, because it's got to. I feel like they're gonna do something, whether it's at Mania or it's tomorrow night.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you could do. I mean, there's a few different things you could do. I don't know if you would actually be able to get him to come out and cut and actually give like an actual speech about Paul Bearer, just because he's always been so protective of his character, and they've always went to great lengths. I mean, I don't even think he was on the Owen Hart tribute show. So, I mean, I think with something like that, I mean, you could. I think having him come out in the old getup in the urn, would be enough. I think you could have the announcers help put it over as a tribute to him too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that they'll have, the 10-bell salute and a couple of video package that'll play a couple times throughout the night on Monday. So I'm sure that they'll give him his due.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the bigger names to have unfortunately passed. I mean, probably since Macho Man. Just as a guy that was regularly, actively on WWE television that fans today will still remember and recognize. I feel like Paul Bearer deserves more than just a little graphic at the beginning that has his face and, year that he was born and year that he died.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll get more than that.
And I feel if Undertaker doesn't do anything, it's kind of like I would be disappointed. Like, he doesn't have to talk. I mean, if he wants to preserve the character and not talk, that's completely acceptable. But
then would you be opposed to a proxy, and if Kane were to be the one to talk?
I think both of them need to say something. I think both. I mean, Kane can talk. Kane can come out and say something. I think for for tomorrow night only, you drop the comedic stuff for Kane. Don't have Daniel Bryan kind of yuck it up with him, and let him do something. I mean, honestly, I would be completely fine if there was like an urn in the middle of the ring and Undertaker came down and knelt before it. Like
You know what? You know what? I think we're going to get a Kane versus Punk match tomorrow.
You think Punk's going to go after Paul Bear in a promo?
They've already gone after Jerry Lawler for a heart attack, so
But,
wouldn't
but
it-
you know what?
the thing is, he was still alive.
Jerry
and they probably
Lawler was
asked him.
alive to
it-
okay that.
it still wouldn't be beyond them.
No, I
No,
guarantee you.
that will not happen.
I guarantee you, Undertaker is going to step right up to creative and say, "Fuck you, no."
I don't think Punk would do that either.
I mean, yeah, you can say that he did it with Lawler, and that's with Lawler's blessing. Like, that is him going to Lawler and Lawler saying that's okay. There is no way I cannot, because the only person he could ask is Undertaker, and I don't see Undertaker saying, "Yeah, go out there, kid, and get the cheap heat."
Yeah, well, I mean, again, with Lawler, I mean, Lawler's always been notorious for letting the show go on. I mean, I remember when his mother died, like they were, I can't remember who was. It might have been Vince or Vince or a wrestler. Was they were cutting a heel promo about Lawler's mother dying like the week before or the day before, or something like that. So I mean, Lawler's been notorious for letting the show go on. I don't think it's something that creative would want to. Even if somebody had that idea, I don't know if anybody would even want to pitch it.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I don't think that you would need to do anything like that. I mean, but again, it's not necessarily beyond them because I mean, look what they did with Eddie Guerrero when he died.
Oh yeah, it's not beyond them.
So I mean, I could see them trying something like that, but I think with as much clout as the Undertaker has, I don't think they would.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that if he came out and said something, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, if Punk came out and tried to cut a cheap heat promo with it, I wouldn't be shocked. But at the same time, it just seems like something to me that just screams for the Undertaker to just say no. I mean, he's a guy that has had a lot of pull and respect in that locker room. Hell, if anything, I would probably say Undertaker is one of, if not the most respected man in the WWE locker room. And if he were to say, "I don't want you to do that," whether it be to Punk or WWE Creative, I don't see anyone saying, "Well, fuck him," and doing it regardless. That's the only thing that keeps me on the side of saying like they wouldn't do that. But at the same time, if they did, if he came out and said, "Oh, I'm challenged, I'm going to fight the Undertaker," and and make some sort of Paul Bearer joke or some dig, it wouldn't shock me. I would just kind of be mad. Like that would be the one thing that would have me legit like mad. Just saying like even for CM Punk, like that's fucked up, and I don't like it. So.
Agreed. I agree 100%. I think that just come out with the urn, maybe have the urn out through WrestleMania. Just have it there. Don't even really have to mention it. Everybody will know what that's for. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
except for average John Cena fan.
Oh yeah.
And and that's the point to me. I think you can still have the announcers, and I think you can have them put that over. And I think you could still end up with a Punk versus Kane match before WrestleMania. But I don't know if you need the reason for it to be about Paul Bear. I think you can just I mean, if they would have been,
hey, you're wrestling the Undertaker. Well, if you can't even beat me, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean, you could set it up a million different ways.
Yeah.
See, I think if they would have, the way I would like to have seen it is if you were going to book, if you knew like 6 months in advance you were going to do Punk and Taker, you could have had Punk beating all the guys who Undertaker's beaten at WrestleMania over the years.
Except for Triple H.
Except for, of course, except for Triple H. But But like, I'd like to have seen them do something like that. Then Punk can say that he's beaten everybody that Undertaker's beaten. I mean, I know you can't do that with everybody.
He can beat up Tamina.
Yeah.
I mean Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do tomorrow night as it pertains to how they honor Paul Bearer, what they do with the Undertaker. Because I mean, now that it's established that it's Punk and Taker, and you're like 4 or 5 weeks out, you got to get the ball rolling on that match. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. It seems it would be tricky to me if I was writing this stuff. I would find it a little bit tricky how to progress that feud tonight. I mean, going forward, but tonight, Monday night, it would be tough for me to figure out how to progress it forward in a meaningful way, avoid mention of Paul Bearer, yet allow there to be a special moment on Raw between Taker and Kane and honoring Paul Bearer and everything. And that would be tricky for me, is that balancing act. So I guess we'll see what happens, especially with creative having gone under recent changes.
That's not part of news because I don't care enough.
That's fine. I mean, it wasn't a major name. I don't blame
No.
you for leaving it out.
But I care.
Well,
No, you don't.
no, I mean, we can discuss it briefly. What was it? He was like the head of creative or the vice president of creative.
I think it was senior VP, but still someone I don't know and don't care for.
He was somebody that has only been with the company, I want to say 2 years, and the main reason they got rid of him was he was a guy that was very unapproachable. He was very he didn't want to work with anybody. Like, his storylines were his stuff was his stuff, and that's it. He didn't allow wrestlers to give their input on things. He didn't care for their opinions. He just wasn't a guy that people could work with well in the company. And I don't know how much of an influence or an impact he had on the storylines before his firing. So I don't know how much it will change. And I don't know if this is something that will show improvement or a decrease in quality. Because overall, I feel like WWE television has been decent. Like, I mean, always leading the WrestleMania season, it's pretty good. But I feel like even before that, it's been decent. It's just had spots where it's had real head scratchers, or the occasional episode that's like, well, that was fucking terrible. Mainly due to the fact that it's 3
hours long.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think Attitude Era Raw could handle 3 hours and be awesome all 3 hours. That's how tough it is to just make weekly 3-hour programming. So, but I guess I guess we'll see. I don't know if we'll see an impact as soon as tonight, but his firing was kind of more like, well, I guess we'll find out how that changes going forward.
Yeah. I mean, that's the type of thing too, where, I mean, if you're going to have small shakeups like that, you can replace a writer here or a guy there, but I mean, your big heads of creative are still Triple H, still Stephanie, still Vince. So I mean, with your big marquee creative people still in place, I don't see there being a really huge change in tone or direction of the program. Because I'm sure at this point they've already got their stuff written out through Mania.
Yeah, I think that might, if anything, like maybe some mid-card stuff or filler stuff. See how that looks different without this. This guy seemed more like a filter.
Right.
So let's see what impact he has, or what impact there is on just like filler stuff. I don't know. Like you said, main event stuff is pretty much set in stone, especially for Mania.
Yeah.
So, So what do you got, Tim? What else you got that we can move forward with?
Let's see. Don't expect Ric Flair to do any more actions than what you saw on Monday during the Miz versus the Ziggler match, where pretty much he chopped and punched or attempted to on Big E Langston. So don't expect him to get any more physical than that, because apparently he has some sort of health issues that the WWE has some concerns over.
And you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't need to see Flair out there trying to wrestle every week. I mean, as much as I'm not really a big fan of Miz, or still not really sold on him using the figure four, he needs something to try to help get him over as a face. So I think go ahead and let Flair, be in his corner, chop a couple of guys, get his woos in, the crowd will be happy.
Yeah. Though it seems like they've taken him out of the U.S. title hunt.
Yeah.
Because he lost the 2 out of 3 falls match, and Sin Cara just beat Antonio Cesaro.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, that doesn't bother me. It's somebody new. It's somebody different.
It is different.
Give Sin Cara something to do.
Yeah. At this point, with them giving any mid-carder anything to do, I'm happy with. I'm just not happy about them constantly jobbing out your U.S. and Intercontinental champions. It makes it feel almost pointless to have them if they're just going to be jobbing out to the main event guys.
Yeah, it's like, why are they facing the main event guys if they're not being pushed in the direction of the main event? Like, if you're keeping them as mid-card guys...
there's a lot of other guys you can put in that spot to take those losses.
Yeah. I mean, it's the unfortunate thing, because whoever is the focal point of WrestleMania this year, they're going to try to make them look as strong as possible. And I think WWE isn't really worried about hurting mid-card guys. They're more worried about making guys like Cena and Punk and Del Rio and Swagger look as strong as possible.
Yeah, I agree. And they've done this for the last last several WrestleManias, is that they're betting everything on your top 2 or 3 matches. They're building those up, and everything else they're just figuring will kind of fall into place. And with the buy rates, with the gate and the buy rates and all last year, I mean, it worked for them. So, I mean, I think if you can, if they can do that, they can have 3 big matches that people are interested in, which at this point will probably be Rock, Cena, Taker, Punk, and probably Triple H and Brock Lesnar. If you can get enough interest in Del Rio and Swagger, especially from the outside media, that might help. But I mean, that's pretty much the 3 or 4 matches that I expect them to focus on, and everything else will just kind of either go toward building those matches up, or will just be kind of added on the week before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking the MMA approach essentially, where the card, like the big pay-per-views are always, the centerpiece is always 1, maybe 2 matches, 1, maybe 2 fights.
Mm-hmm.
Like the next one coming up, the big focus is going to be St. Pierre and Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
So they don't talk about the undercard really. They might talk about one other additional match, and then they let the talent of their undercard kind of keep everybody entertained, and that's what it seems like WWE does when it comes to WrestleMania. It's like they push the marquee matches that they know will get people to go, I'll buy it now, and then throw the mid card out in some last second stuff, maybe push 1 or 2 matches. As far as mid-card goes, it seems like the prime time of the year that they really focus on mid-card or younger guys is like the late spring, early summer shows and pay-per-views, especially with like Money in the Bank, except last year when they gave it to John Cena. Yeah. And then he lost it because he's a dummy. Anyway, for the most part, they tend to. It seems like they tend to focus on the younger guys, like in between the big pay-per-views, and then like Rumble from Rumble to Mania, it's more of the main guys. Leading up to SummerSlam, it's main guys, and then everything else is maybe a little more focus on younger. Not so much so that we're like, yay, they're focusing on young guys, but it's more so that like that's when their time to shine is, and then they get put back into place when Mania comes around, which is unfortunate. I mean, if you want to push these guys, if you want them to be the future, they should be protected at all times. There is no time of the year where it's okay to bury them because it won't affect them, because it will.
Right.
And that's our talk of Ric Flair.
Yeah.
But we're gonna stick. But we're still going to be talking about Four Horsemen.
Okay.
Because Steve Mongo McMichael is running for mayor of Romeoville, Illinois, and I just hope his mayoral slogan is going to be "Never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo."
Good for him.
Don't worry about it. I just want an excuse to say that line.
That's fine. You know what? It's your segment. Use it how you need it.
That and I think Helmick wanted to know. So then he could vote for him.
Helmick, how do you feel?
Well, my sister lives in Illinois, so I might actually be able to get her or someone else to vote for him. But I have no idea where Romeoville is.
Somewhere in a suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago.
My sister probably doesn't live close enough to vote for him then.
All right,
So,
then doesn't fucking matter. Moving on.
I don't know. I just wonder if Kevin Green will be his lieutenant mayor.
Oh no, he'll just turn on him.
Oh God.
Oh, Steve McMichael. Hopefully he would be a better mayor than he was a wrestler.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have to do much to be better than his wrestling career.
No.
What else we got?
Apparently, the Swagger and Del Rio feud's going to go past Mania, as there's apparently plans to have a submission match at Extreme Rules pay-per-view. However, what was not mentioned is whether or not the world title would be on the line, as Dolph Ziggler still has that thing, the Fisher Price briefcase, which
that's right.
which hasn't been used. So whether or not that gets used or not remains to be seen.
He's just gonna be the first guy to let his contract expire. You need a first.
That is true.
You need a first.
I don't need it.
No, every time he cashes in for the entire year, he just gets screwed until it just expires, and then it's no good. Just do something with it. I'm really tired of watching him walk around with that stupid beat to shit blue briefcase.
You should get it airbrushed.
They should really come up with something else for them to carry.
Or just get Alex Riley to carry it every single time.
Alex Riley. Hey, your win comes with a free Alex Riley.
What? I get to be on TV for a few seconds?
I was going to say Alex Riley would jump at that opportunity right now.
Yeah.
Like, make it a ring or something. Just something. Those briefcases.
A suit of armor.
Yes, wear a suit of armor.
You know what they say. If you like it, put a ring on it.
A ring would actually be cool. A ring would be quick and easy. Like they wear the ring to they wear it to the wrestling ring every week. And then when the moment's right, they run down, they hand the ring to the ref, and they go, "I want to cash in my contract."
You know what? Now I just want to see one of them pawn the ring. Now.
You want to see what?
One of them pawn the ring.
It would be like I think Slamboree was a WCW one where the winner of it was like a tournament, and the winner got a ring, like Battle Bowl or something.
Who cares?
Hey, Diamond Dallas Page won that tournament. DDP yoga.
It's a good thing.
It's yoga. I mean, I got to give them credit though, because they have really made that whole DUI marijuana thing disappear. Like they're like fucking David Copperfield.
they didn't mention it, and they kind of kept Swagger quiet for I think like a week. Like he didn't say anything, and that was it. And they've just completely brushed her by the wayside.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how much that lasts, past Mania, past this Extreme Rules match. Hopefully it does continue to last. I still think it'd be neat if Swagger cashed in at Mania. It'd be a nice moment. Probably more so because I'll actually be there.
Yeah.
But still, just to get it off of him.
Well, I've already seen one briefcase cashed in.
I don't think I've ever seen any.
I did.
Would you see Swagger's?
No, I saw Daniel Bryan's.
Oh, right. I didn't see his in person.
I did. And it was glorious!
Hmm.
As well as seeing Zack Ryder actually accomplish something. Same night.
Yeah, I guess it's been about over a year since Zack Ryder's really done anything of merit.
Well, now he's trying to get a gimmick change, and that's not part of it. It's because I don't care enough.
He wants a serious gimmick. Good for him.
Yeah.
Go back to being one of the Major Brothers.
Hey! Are you serious?
I am.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead. It's all good.
Okay, I was going to the next topic,
That's
which is
fine.
actually important because it still goes on for gimmicks. Because El Generico made his actual in-ring NXT debut, but he did it without the mask and under his real name, Rami Sebai. So he may be dropping his popular, El Generico gimmick, even though he teased it at a prior NXT appearance. So
I'll let others comment before I say anything.
He instead of being El Generico, now he just looks generic.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it's something where I think you have plenty of time. You can do it however you want. I mean, you could even pull a Joseph Park and have him wrestle as both characters. So I wouldn't be too worried about it until they call him up to the main roster.
Yeah, part of me is like, oh yeah, I understand that WWE wants to, get their own names out, have their own names, have their own guys, but at the same time, it's like he's already pretty well established. He has, a catchphrase already, and he would get over. But then I think, that gimmick would really only get over as a joke gimmick, and he probably wouldn't get too far in the company with that.
it's worked for Santino.
Yeah, but I don't think
Santino is not. He's over, but he's not going anywhere.
I don't think Generico wants to be the next Santino.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. He doesn't want to be that.
I mean, like in the indie circuit, Generico's. I know indie is nothing compared to WWE, but he's.
I'm not trying to compare their wrestling backgrounds.
No,
but,
no, I know you're saying the gimmick wise.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, I don't think Generico wants to be that. I mean, at this point, Generico's not even that in the indie circuit. He was a main eventer. In some indie companies, he was their champion. So I don't think he'd be looking to do that. It's really a double-edged sword. It's like, it's exactly like Howard said. It's like if they work something out to keep him as El Generico, they got tons of merchandise that they can easily sell to kids. They got a catchphrase. They got things that will instantly get over, and he's a good wrestler, which means it'll help him propel to at least a mid-card level. Excuse me. But at the end, a gimmick like that only ever goes so far, and wrestling talent can propel it higher than that of Santino or Brodus Clay. But at the end of the day, you'll never, ever see El Generico WWE champion. And I'm not saying you would get that if his mask was off, but his chances of making a longer-lasting impact and maybe being higher up on the card, especially with him being regarded for his wrestling skill, his chances are better if he's unmasked, even though it's a very generic look for him. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough to see what'll happen, but I'm not concerned yet because I feel WWE's recent track record with indie talent has been pretty good for the most part. You look at Tyler Black / Seth Rollins, you look at Dean Ambrose, you look at Antonio Cesaro / Claudio Castagnoli. I mean, CM Punk is the pinnacle of what an indie guy can do. You look at those guys and you realize, especially now that Triple H is in charge of or has more power when it comes to things like that, that it's more reassuring. And I mean, and Daniel Bryan gets thrown into that category as well. I didn't mean to neglect him. It leaves me confident that whatever they come up with when they put him on the main roster, could work. To what degree, I don't know. I don't think no matter what gimmick he has, I don't think they signed a main event superstar of the future level talent in El Generico. I think they signed an excellent mid-carder to upper mid-carder. That's just me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I think it's way too early to tell.
Yeah. But, I mean, and at the same time, if that's all he manages to be, if he leaves the WWE or he leaves wrestling and his WWE career was getting as high as like the upper mid card, maybe having the occasional match with a main event superstar, being like a 2-3 time Intercontinental Champion and maybe winning the tag belts a couple times, I think that's a very respectable career.
You just got to look at the money difference. So, I mean, even if if you're a small fish in a big pond, so to speak, the amount of money that you're going to be making compared to what what those guys make on the indie scene, it's night and day.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, we'll see.
Plus, he's a young guy. He's actually only 28, so.
Yeah, he's got a long career ahead of him.
He's been in business since 2004, I think. So, anyway, WWE interest. Apparently, they don't have any more in Fandango. The end.
Yeah, apparently there's talk that the reason he has been coming out and not debuting is of feigning interest with the creative team on the character of Fandango, and there is a possible chance that he will never debut.
Man, poor Johnny Curtis just can't catch a break.
I know, right? And he's got such a range as far as as a character on TV.
No, I mean, like, these are just rumors, though. I mean, I wouldn't get too wrapped up in it yet. I say, like, if he hasn't...
It definitely doesn't look good, though.
No, if he hasn't... I would say this. If he hasn't wrestled a match by the time... between Mania and Extreme Rules... Because I could see them just doing this and saving an actual debut for after Mania when they can actually give it time.
The Brodus Clay effect.
Yeah. If Extreme Rules hits and he still hasn't wrestled, he's done. He's not doing nothing.
I could see him like on the pre-show, like a match before Mania starts or something, coming out and doing it. I can see them saving that till after Mania.
Yeah, because I mean the pre-show for WrestleMania this year is an hour. Like they're bumping it up from 30 minutes to an hour. We're gonna have to be at the arena by like 5:30, 5 o'clock.
See, and that's the thing where I can see them just thinking, "Oh, never mind."
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you want to get weird?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I don't know where to go. I didn't expect to say sure.
Okay.
I'm so confused.
I am too. Moving on. As far as being confused, I have no idea what the TNA's doing with Bobby Roode's contract, because There's so many conflicting reports that it came up that his contract had expired and he's one of their tag champions, and Bruce Pritchard, who's their TNA talent relations head, had let the contract expire. And then a report came out, it's like, no, Bobby Roode signed a 5-year deal back in 2009, which means the contract wouldn't expire until next year. Either way you look at it, reports are saying that Bobby Roode is on location for tonight's pay-per-view for Lockdown. So those tag titles will get defended in a triple threat match, by the way.
I think a big clue for everything tonight, as far as the accuracy, will be if they walk out with the belts tonight or not.
Yeah, I just don't know. See, it's this type of carelessness that is never going to. They're never going to propel to be any bigger than what they are at this point. When you do stuff like this on a repeated basis, and you just at some point somebody's going to take that belt, and just leave with it, or you're going to end up into a having to put yourself out of a huge mess. It's just unbelievable to me.
Or he'll do what Ric Flair did and walk onto WWE TV wearing that title.
Yeah, well, I don't even think they would even want to have him wearing the belt on TV. But
well, no, not in this general age.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things where it's just amateurish.
If he really is wrestling without a contract, without an agreement, WWE needs to sign him. Needs to.
No question.
He is, and I've said it before, everybody has said it a million times on this show, he is, without a doubt, the biggest example of a guy in TNA that could literally just go straight to the E and there would be no transition phase. He is fit and ready for WWE television.
He is.
To be tagging with Sweet Tea and Brodus Clay.
Oh God, it's true.
No.
Why would you? No.
No. He could easily
Bangin' Bobby remix.
He could easily walk in there now and be Intercontinental or U.S. champion easily. And I think with the right booking, he could easily be main event.
Oh, I think so. I think we've all been a huge fan of Bobby Roode for a long time, and we've liked Bobby Roode
for a good year and a half now.
Yeah, and we've liked Bobby Roode for quite a while too. Now was it Howard banging Bobby remix?
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that guy.
No,
but
maybe not.
But he might be the edge that they need to finally finish off the 3-man band. But no, I mean, I agree. I think he would be, I think it would be a great sign for them, and I don't think they would need to have to do a whole lot to get him ready, quote unquote. But yeah, again, I never try to figure out what they're going to do. Never really try to figure out who they're going to sign or what these days. Mm-hmm. I just get confused whenever I hear about their latest developments.
So yeah.
What a fucking mess. But that'll do.
TNA.
So now for Brian's reaction to Impact this week. Go, Brian.
Oh, you're done with news?
Yeah, I'm done with news.
Yeah, I can do that. That's fine. I know the whole thing that I said about not talking about it, but you know what? I thought
I thought it was very important that you watched Impact for once.
Hey, I did. And I got.
And I'm totally at fault for it.
Yeah. Like Thursday night, I don't even know what I was doing. I think I was just like watching TV in the living room, and I was just going through Facebook, and I see Tim's status of like another correct TNA prediction for the boy, and I was like, oh, what is he? What happened? Like I'm trying to recollect like what was his prediction that he had been making. I said it was. I was like, I know one of them was Bully Ray being a part of Aces and Eights, but there's no way they would do that for a fucking Impact. And I looked it up and then turned it on. And I was like, oh, it's D'Lo Brown, VP of Aces and Eights. And I just decided to watch the rest of the show, see how everything develops. So I got to see D'Lo Brown's promo about how he was a VP and how these guys have his back and all that shit. Because it's important that when you are feuding with when you're a big heel faction feuding with the company, that you sign one of their backstage agents. Sure.
So, did the crowd even care?
I didn't see the twist. That would be Tim's department on whether they reacted or not.
They booed.
Oh, okay. That's,
Like-
that's more...
So I count that as positive.
Well, they
Okay.
was it like a heavy boo, like oh my god, this is so shocking. How could he do that? Boo, or just like, oh, I get it. Yeah, okay, boo.
Yeah, I would say more of a generic boo.
Okay.
Like boo, bad guys, boo.
Okay. Yeah. So I saw some wrestling. I saw a lot of the matches that led to the determination of who gets the man advantage in the Lethal Lockdown match, which was fine.
Let me guess. The heels won.
Yes.
More
man.
importantly, during that series, we got to see the reunion of Jonas.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they reunited, and they were the only TNA representatives to win.
Oh, that's good.
Sting lost, and James Storm lost.
Sting not only lost, he got busted open big time.
Yeah, he did.
I liked it because he got really angry in the back.
He was serious, Sting. I was shocked. He had regular face paint on. He wasn't making jokes. He was pissy. He was just Sting. He wasn't Joker Sting, Helmick. He was just Sting.
He was real Sting?
He was real Sting.
But
Ah.
not surfboard Sting. But,
Huh?
close enough.
He was Crow Sting, or Angry Steve.
Well, I mean, he's been Crow Sting longer than he's been Surfer Sting at this point, so...
Yeah. So, there was that. A lot of the wrestling was good. I liked some of the backstage stuff. I think the first thing I saw when I turned it on was like Gail Kim yelling at Velvet Sky, and I saw like one of the worst slaps ever. But what
It
can
was
you?
pretty horrendous.
But what do you expect for fucking Velvet Sky? The Velvet Sky's participation in the mixed 6-man tag was all right. She did okay there.
I expect her to put the pigeons back.
Yeah, I enjoyed Kenny King's promo. I thought that was awesome. A lot of Sting's backstage stuff. I liked Eric Young's promo to try to convince Sting that he should be the last guy to represent TNA in the advantage matches. I thought that was good. Jonas's match was good. Sting and not Sting.
Now, who did Jonas wrestle?
Jonas wrestled.
Knox in the future.
Yeah, Knox and
No,
the future.
no. Was it Knox or Doc?
No, it was Doc.
No, it was Doc. Yeah, it was one of the biggies.
It was Doc.
I just
and
knew that.
Besides Jonas reuniting, the best part of that match was a giant "You can't wrestle" chant for Garrett Bischoff.
Oh, that crowd knows their stuff.
Yeah. The two things that I'll close this on, because I'm not going to talk about the entire show. The two things that I took away from this show that stuck with me were the two things that I thought were the worst things on there. Apparently last week there was a gut check match between former Tough Enough contestant Evilise.
Who's now hot with red hair,
Yeah, she
as
looks,
opposed to being hot with blonde hair.
yeah. Against Lady Tapa, who is the niece of the Barbarian. Very big, very unique looking woman. Probably like taller than she's probably approaching 6 feet. She's big. She's a big girl. Lengthwise and thick. She's not like Awesome Kong big, but she looks like a powerful woman. I didn't see the match, so I can't judge except for clips. And the clips that I saw was, Ivelisse of a more high-flying, fast-paced tempo to her moves and very MMA focused because she's got an MMA background. Apparently, she turned down an MMA contracted fight to participate in gut check last week, according to them. And her stuff looked good. And then when they were showing Lady Tapa, she was getting criticized by the three judges as like looking kind of stiff, occasionally lost in the ring, very green. But she had potential because she's got this unique look and size, and she's young so she can learn, and all this stuff. While when they talk about Ivelisse, they're like, oh yeah, she's got this great MMA background, and she incorporates it into her professional wrestling, and she looks well polished and all that stuff. And Ivelisse won her match last week. So apparently in Gut Check now you have the two previous competitors there backstage, and then the three judges choose who is going to come out to the ring and then get voted upon whether they get a yes or no. So there's elimination and then the final vote. They eliminated Ivelisse, which, based on what they were saying leading up to the decision, I was completely confused. I'm like, so you got this polished, quick, well-rounded, athletic woman who won her match, but didn't do well enough compared to the green, underdeveloped, stiff, lost-looking big woman because she's big.
And in fairness, since I did watch that match, I thought they were both really good, and I thought they both, at the very least, did deserve contracts. So I'm not taking any of her actual wrestling ability away from Lady Tapa. But continue.
Well, I mean, even then, like I'm not taking anything away from her either. I'm just literally quoting Al Snow, Bruce Pritchard, and OVW guy.
I'm just pointing that out for them and for them and anyone who's listening.
Okay, yeah.
To have a clarification.
Yeah, all I'm doing is quoting
of her in-ring stuff.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion one way or another, but they bring her out, and she comes out, and the crowd is booing. Apparently, the crowd was really into Ivelisse because they hated the fact that Tapas was the one that was coming out. They booed the shit out of her. They chanted no. They were not happy during this entire segment, to the point where when they gave the mic to Lady Tapa, not only did she cut an NXT Titus O'Neil worthy promo,
she made it a win.
She was clearly affected by the crowd's vitriol hate for her. Like, you could tell she was constantly getting distracted, and she tried to play it off as a heel, like, shut up! But you could tell it was affecting her. And, yes, instead of make it a win, she said, and I quote, "I've spent 2 years in wrestling business."
Oh.
Like she actually learned wrestling business, not wrestling.
And that's not because she's bad at English. She speaks perfect English. She forgot a word.
Yeah.
I spent 2 years in wrestling business. Anyway, the crowd chants.
I just want to take this time. No one ever said the Barbarian was a fluent talker.
Yeah, the crowd is just vitriol. They don't want her. The OVW guy who's now the third judge was like, yes. Bruce Pritchard says no, and Al Snow says yes. And I just continued to be mind-boggled because my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gut Check was to give an opportunity to indie wrestler guys that could come in, earn a contract, and be an instant impact on the TNA roster. Like guys that are proven to be good indie wrestlers, and this is their shot to be on TV. That's Gut Check, right? Gut Check isn't rookies. It's guys from the indies with some sort of reputation, whether we know it or not, to prove themselves about possibly getting a contract.
More or less.
I believe that's how it was at least pitched.
With the exception to Chris Louis. But go ahead.
So you pick the woman who you've openly admitted on television is someone that will need to go down to OVW and further train.
Oh, but she's got that lineage.
She's got the lineage, she's got that look, but she's going to take another 2 years before you fucking see her again!
Well, alright, is being related to the Barbarian really... Does that really count as having, like...
Oh, they
a
talked about it like a
prestigious
no, yes,
wrestling heritage
they
now?
talked
TNA,
about it like it.
TNA, yes.
They pushed it like that.
I don't know, it just seems like it seems like we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel with that whole thing now.
Oh, trust me. During the whole gut check match and the episode on Impact, they could not go 3 minutes at the least without mentioning the fact that she is the Barbarian's niece.
Maybe they're bringing the Barbarian in for a short stint or something. Then I don't know.
But she's not. They're not even anticipating her being on TV anytime soon. Like, that's the thing. Is like they're talking about bringing her on to train her.
The only gut check contestant who got a contract and is consistently seen on TV is Christian York. By the way, he's wrestling in the pay-per-view tonight.
But I'm just saying, it's like, if that's the goal of gut check, and you said no to a woman who could literally start wrestling for you next week, so you could teach this bitch, give the contract to Ivelisse, and then put the other one in OVW. You can still do that. You can just say, we can't offer you a TNA contract because you're not ready yet, but OVW would like to offer you a training contract, a developmental contract, a developmental deal.
At least she didn't go from being diagnosed with cancer to being misdiagnosed. Helmet gets that one.
I do.
It's so dumb. Fine, you want the big one because she's unique and she'll be an interesting look to the knockouts division. That's fine, but if she's not ready, don't give her a full contract. At least not on TV.
Oh, and for an added note, Helmet, just for continuity purposes, Taz is not doing gut check because he's a member of Ace Snake. They instead got Danny Davis.
I was going to ask about that. I was going to ask, I was assuming that they switched out judges somewhere, but
I figured I'd tell you.
And then the other... I'm sorry, go on.
So, yeah, Danny Davis is now the third judge.
And the other thing I didn't particularly care for was the main event spot. The main event spot was designated to the final face-off between Jeff Hardy and Bully Ray leading up to Lockdown.
Well, I guess you can call a 2-week build-up a final face-off.
Yes.
But go ahead.
So this is... I will give you the summary of this promo. Bully Ray comes out. Jeff Hardy comes out. Bully Ray gets on the mic. I respect you. Jeff Hardy gets on the mic. No, I respect you. Hulk Hogan's crippled ass crawls out to the ring on his crutches. Millions of pyro goes off behind him as if he was coming out for a wrestling return. Then he gets on the mic. No, I respect you both, and whoever is going to be champ is going to represent this company as we march into the future. Why was this main event? Oh, and then Ace and Ace come out, and they get all in the ring, and they fight the two contenders, and then Team TNA comes in, there's a brawl, and the show ends mid-brawl.
Wait a second.
Don't you dare say it.
You mean to tell me that an episode of TNA Impact ended mid-brawl between two boring factions?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here.
And that's exactly how I felt. I just really feel like that is the, if we have nothing else, use this ending for Impact. Because you just wasted everybody's time with a dick-sucking fest. It was just basically Bully Ray getting down on his knees, nom, 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 nom. And then Jeff Hardy getting down on his knees, nom, 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 nom. And then both of them getting down on their knees while Hulk Hogan praises them, nom, 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 nom.
I love the sounds.
Yeah, I just can't believe.
That's because you like Cookie Monster.
I just can't believe an episode of Impact would end in the middle of a brawl. I mean, what happened? How are the fans going to see what happens at the end of that brawl?
now look, I'll give them credit. The majority of that show was fine. Those 2 segments, I looked at and I said, why TNA? Why? Who ends a show with a love fest? Who really does? I don't remember the last time WWE ended a show with 2 faces wrestling for a major title going, I like you too. I don't remember it. If it happened, I don't remember. Who the fuck says that's a good idea? Who the fuck think that's a great way to build up momentum to your fucking pay-per-view?
Well, look, pay-per-views don't make any money anyway, so...
It's dumb.
Which is why I can't wait for Bully Ray to be revealed as a member of Aces and Eight.
Like, they don't have to say I hate you or anything if they're both faces. You know? I mean, and Bully Ray, for a second, tried to take it like, oh, yeah, I like you, but I'm going to do everything I can to take that belt. But then it went right back to, but at the end, Jeff Hardy, I really do like you. You're my friend. Like,
Bully
God.
Ray just ain't a bully anymore.
If you're 2 faces going for the title...
Is he just Ray, then?
He's just Ray.
If it's 2 faces going for the title...
Not to be confused with just Ray.
Have their promo be about putting over the title.
Yeah.
The focus should be making the title important, not making each other, not pumping up each other's egos.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Other than that,
Man, I kind of wish I would have watched this episode of Impact now.
Well, you know, what can we do? All right, so
I did watch Raw.
Yeah, well, we've been in this for over an hour. We haven't even gotten to any of the WWE shows. So,
well,
let me
for old school Raw, not a whole lot of old school stuff really happened.
Yeah, let me pull up Raw and let's blow through this. We're not going to go through everything. Let's see, what were the big things? Big things, Undertaker, of course.
No, Honky Tonk Man.
That was one of them, but we're not.
All right. Okay, well, let's see. We had a 4-way promo with Randy Orton, Sheamus, Punk, and Big Show to try to see who wants to fight The Undertaker. Then they set up a fatal 4-way match. Ryback kills Cesaro. Mark Henry kills Zack Ryder.
I was saying, but wait, no. The one thing about that entire thing was they started build up for a Mark Henry Ryback match.
They did.
How do you feel about that?
I would much rather see that than Mark Henry versus the Great Khali.
I mean, as far as the Mania match, that they're saying that's a Mania match.
I can see it being a match at Mania. I see it being maybe a 7-minute double DQ or no contest type match.
Would you call it a bathroom break match?
Not necessarily, because I think you could have some impressive power spots, but I don't think you could really pin either guy cleanly right now with, still trying to keep Ryback strong, and then with Mark Henry just coming back.
Yeah, but they haven't really been keeping Ryback strong since he's lost 3 straight big matches in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't take the pin in
Okay, in one of them.
One of them, he didn't take the pin.
But
they still have him kill Cesaro.
They do.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you're going to turn Ryback heel, you might be able to do something.
Well, apparently that stuff that's not coming to fruition.
Okay.
There is no heel stuff. I don't even think that was worth bringing up in the first place. They killed it. And I mean them bringing it up because they brought it up kind of on that one Raw, and then they completely killed it.
Yeah.
But that's WWE for you. Hey, let's plant the seeds for a heel turn. I changed my mind. So.
Yeah. Dolph Ziggler lost again. Another shocker.
And this time to The Miz. And I don't get it.
I tell you that the more I watch Ziggler, because I watched this match on Monday, and I watched him wrestle Del Rio on SmackDown.
How was
this
Del Rio
guy
match?
is going to have to retire at the rate he's going. He's going to be retired in 3 years because he just bumps so violently. It is incredible the guy can even still work at the pace he's working at now.
John
enough.
Cena and The Rock had their best promo against each other in over a year.
Yeah, I actually think this promo was better than just about any other promo they cut last year.
I liked Matt's explanation of it.
Yeah. Matt's explanation of it was funny. And overall, I think it made both guys look strong. So, I mean, that's always a positive thing.
Jack Swagger beat up 2 Canadian heroes in the American Dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, match didn't really get started. Kane and Daniel Bryan killed the primetime players again.
And
hey, but at least Ted DiBiase was out there.
At least Daniel Bryan took Ted DiBiase's money from Daniel.
I did think that was pretty funny, and I guess the only thing I could think of was that the writing team was putting the show together and said, "Oh, hey, Mr. DiBiase, how you going? Oh shit, Ted DiBiase's here.
What do we do with him?
Somewhere, yeah."
Just have him stand at ringside and look like he's going to manage the primetime players. But let's have him stand on the wrong side of the ring.
Well, it was more like he was scouting them,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I'm
But
glad
he just-
Tensai finally adopted the sweet tea gimmick.
Yeah, because he was going to go any further with Tensai.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm glad they gave him new tights, and now he's actually sweet tea, and I like that. I kind of dig it.
Well, as I said,
And he won
it's not
with
like
the
he was
power
going
of the
anywhere
Lord.
else with Tensai.
Yeah, I don't know. The Honky Tonk Man for me was the MVP of that whole segment.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Just-
came out of a
just
time vortex.
Yeah, it's the best I've seen him look in a while too. I mean, he looked to be in a much better shape than I've seen him in the last few years. And he did this Honky Tonk Man dance, and that was it. Yeah, it was.
And destroyed a guitar right over Heath Slater's head.
Yeah, he went all Jeff Jarrett.
there wasn't enough pyro coming out of it, so
Yeah.
let's see.
I enjoyed that though. I enjoyed the and Heath Slater took that square on the forehead. That was rough.
Yeah.
I like that Fandango decided not to debut even though Justin Roberts did eventually get his name right.
I don't know who that is.
I don't think he pronounced the A's correctly.
I think he did. I think he said it exactly as Fandango did, and then Fandango was like, "Yeah, you didn't get it right," and he left.
I love that Justin Roberts looked really sad.
I don't
I
know.
love the fact that Justin Roberts was
Who are we
wearing a blue
talking about?
tuxedo.
He was wearing a tuxedo. I see the look of old school Raw. I loved. I loved the intro.
I love the referee and the blue shirts and the bow ties and
I actually said that when we were watching it too. It's like, oh, look at that.
Classic King attire with the crown and the jacket. They
Yeah.
dressed Cole up like Vince
He had-
McMahon.
yeah. Cole had that mustard that mustard yellow jacket.
The red, white, and blue ropes. I liked all of that. I thought that was cool, and that's about as far as the old school theme went.
Yeah.
It wasn't as cool as the last old school Raw. Like it has a moment where I was like, that's awesome, yay, old music and the siren and the old pyro, and that was
Yeah.
cool. And then that's about it.
The
Triple H-
Shield cut a pretty good promo.
Who?
The Shield,
Oh yeah, Shield cut a very good promo.
another good video promo. I like that.
Triple H cut an okay promo. It was quick. It was to the point. It was, I want to fight you at WrestleMania, and now we wait for Lesnar's response tomorrow night.
The New Age Outlaws look like they could still be tag team champions for a 6th time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. They looked like they were ready to just make another run of it.
Yeah, they beat Primo and not Primo in pretty quick fashion.
Yeah. Apparently, they are pushing for a match between them and Rhodes Scholars.
For tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be good.
Apparently, those guys have worked together several times at house shows.
Oh, that's cool. Did not know that.
Mae Young celebrated her birthday, and CM Punk could not give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, this was. I thought this was really funny because they brought everybody out to sing "Happy Birthday" and they had this ginormous cake, and then
Hey,
Punk's music hits.
We were mostly shocked that 1, John Cena was out there, and 2, Mark Henry was out there not murdering anyone.
I know. I saw Mark Henry was out there, too, and I was waiting for them to make some type of reference or to play a Mae Young, like a Mae Young video package and have like a bunch of Mark Henry stuff in there. We didn't get any of that.
I was waiting for Hand Henry.
Look at me
Hey,
now.
Dad.
Yeah, hey Dad. But yeah, when Punk just comes out and like he doesn't acknowledge her, he doesn't do it. He just walks straight
The best
through.
part is the fact that Mae Young just looked like she had no idea where she was.
I know. Yeah, Mae Young is just.
Like, love her to death, but goddamn.
Yeah, she was just happy to be hanging out, and yeah, I thought that was I thought it was better than any promo anybody could have cut or anything anybody could have said or done. He just walked right by everybody. It was hilarious.
It's like for some reason they realized, oh wait, we got 3 hours. We better hurry this shit up.
We only have 3 hours.
Only have 3 hours.
Let's wrap up this shit.
Yes.
CM Punk won that match, by the way.
And I like the finish. I like the basically everyone leading into each other's finishers.
Yeah, that was a good match overall, and
But it was like I never expected anyone else to win but Punk.
Yeah.
That's
I never expected anyone else to win.
I never expected
not
anyone,
even Sheamus.
I never expected anyone else to win, and I really didn't want anyone else to win. The only one I would have accepted was Sheamus, really, because Sheamus would have been new. Like when Sheamus said, "I've never fought the Undertaker," I was like, you know what? You make a valid argument. If they pulled a swerve and you were Taker's opponent this year, I would be all right with it. I'd be completely okay.
Yeah.
But
maybe next year.
Hey, I mean, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, Punk won. They closed the show appropriately. A face-off between Undertaker and Punk. I liked it.
So what do you think about that match?
I think the match will be good. I know a lot of people. There have been a few people that said, "Oh man, the one time they fought, it wasn't really all that great." And I just think Punk has come a lot further in his career now than where he was the last time he fought Undertaker.
Yeah, and I think that match, if I remember correctly, that was pretty much a squash anyway, wasn't it?
It was a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
I don't remember too much about it.
Yeah, I just really remember Punk getting thrown around like crazy.
Yeah, and this I think is going to be a more athletic match, and I mean I think Punk is the best choice of an opponent that you can put in there to have a high quality match and at the same time work within the restraints of Undertaker's own physical limits. Whatever he can't do this year based on any nagging injuries, Punk can work with it.
Yeah, I think he's definitely the best choice.
Yeah, like him to me, like there. If you talk about guys that can work with the current status of the Undertaker, I don't think you can choose anyone better than either Punk or maybe Chris Jericho. It's my opinion.
Yep.
So I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. If Cena and Rock continue to build their match the way they did this past Monday, I'll grow to be okay with their rematch. And if they treat the Triple H Brock Lesnar feud the way they have so far, I'll grow to be okay with that too.
That means it's going to be a complete joke.
Oh, that means tomorrow night Brock Lesnar's going to come out and he's going to cut his entire promo. He's not going to give the mic to Paul Heyman. He's going to cut his own promo. And
Triple H, I know that you feel feelings about feelings, but I have some changes that I would like changed. About my
the only way we're going to wrestle if it's WrestleMania 29 featuring Brock Lesnar. Starring Brock Lesnar.
You have a face, Triple H, and I want to punch it and make you piss yourself with piss. I want your blood. I want your blood I want it red.
I want blood to come out of your face like piss.
I'm an ass kicker. I'm a machine, and I'm
gonna make you bleed your own blood.
I'm a hurricane. I'm a rock you like one.
Don't stand back.
I'm a rock you like one. So
what's up with that?
You better stand back.
Somebody gonna get their wig split.
Somebody call my mama.
It's morphin' time.
I mean, my kid's mama. Somebody call Sable. I wanna get on top of my wife tonight. And I'm gonna drink Coors Light. That's right, I said Coors Light because Bud Light ain't paying me shit.
And I need to work on my farm.
He's just gonna go into his UFC ranting days.
As long as he's eating Jimmy John's.
Yeah. Good old Jimmy John's.
Oh my god. I remember that. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light because Bud Light ain't paying me shit, and I may get on top of my wife tonight. Holy shit, that was the best promo Brock Lesnar's ever cut, and that was in UFC. Yeah, so I mean, Raw overall for the old school theme kind of lacked in delivery, but everything else I thought was all right.
Yeah, it did a lot more to hype up WrestleMania than I thought it was going to. I don't know if you necessarily needed to have it be an old school Raw at all.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was fine. The show was still just 3 hours, which I don't think I'm ever going to get used to that.
Yeah.
Because then you always have an overrun, because 3 hours is not enough time.
It's really not. But so how can you guys wrap up NXT in a nutshell?
There was a triple threat match where Conor O'Brien won.
There was also a 6-Diva tag match
where face Alicia Fox was a heel.
Yeah, you had Sasha Banks, Naomi, and Melina versus Alicia Fox wrestling Audrey Marie, Oksana, and the real Alicia Fox. And Sasha Banks was throwing some drop kicks, and she was getting to about waist high on the Divers. Naomi got a hot tag and essentially worked the rest of the match and cleaned house. She looked really sharp. But the best part was that William Regal mentioned his conjoined twin daughters again. He was talking to Tony Dawson about, like, you know, if Tony Dawson were to ever come by his house and take his twin daughters Doris and Gladys out for a date, and then he had to go back and mention that they are conjoined, so he would have to take both of them out. It was hilarious. I really do at some point want to see.
William Regal's conjoined twins.
I want to see them. I hope they pay this off eventually. I know they won't, but
Adrian Neville proved that he doesn't need Oliver Gray at all by being two guys in a tag match.
Yeah, he beat two jobbers. Let's see. Bo Dallas smiled a lot.
He does smile a lot, and it's real creepy, and it's real awesome.
And the Shield had another good videotaped promo, and Seth Rollins was talking about coming back to get his rematch for the NXT title, and I thought that was awesome.
And Yoshitatsu lost to Leo Kruger. The end.
That's the show.
Yay!
By the way, that triple threat match was actually better. Was pretty good.
Yeah, the triple threat match was decent.
Okay.
Not bad at all.
SmackDown.
Any big, worthy, notable things for SmackDown?
They need to have Ricardo Rodriguez dressed up as Zeb Coulter and Alberto Del Rio dressed up as Jack Swagger doing their YouTube promos more often.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That got a standing ovation at the arena.
Yeah.
Team Hell No murdered 3MB.
Ryback murdered Damian Sandow.
Ryback did. Oh, and sad news. For some reason, someone thought it was a good idea while JBL's climbing a mountain to have Brad Maddox at ringside doing commentary.
God.
Which, by the way, was awesome because Michael Cole completely murdered him the entire night.
Yeah, Michael Cole became like the biggest baby face on the show for me. Oh God, Brad Maddox. Like I've always thought he was annoying in like his short segments, and I figured, and he was, but I always figured, that's just part of his character. But like, I just wanted this guy to shut the hell up. Like, he was terrible.
It was awful.
Absolutely terrible.
Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler had, a match that was real good. AJ got splashed with water from Ricardo's bucket.
Yeah, that led to the referee sending AJ and Big E Langston to the back.
And then we got a hilarious promo between AJ and Daniel Bryan, where the best use of Daniel Bryan's 18 seconds was brought up ever.
Yeah, that's really funny. I'm surprised they haven't done more interactions with the two of them since. But
I don't think it doesn't matter at this point, really.
I guess it really doesn't. But I don't know. Those
Mark
two
Henry,
just really funny.
Mark
together.
Henry murdered Yoshitatsu.
Man, Yoshitatsu loves getting murdered.
There were promos by Big Show and Sheamus. Big Show talked about he doesn't need anyone because his fist is the only thing that he needs to talk with, and Sheamus.
I imagine him drawing lipstick on it and black marker, like eyes and a mouth.
Starts calling her Hannaford.
Only when his face.
Or like Hannah.
Yeah,
I'll shut up.
Timmy and Caitlyn had a short match. The important part was Cody Rhodes was watching it on a monitor, and Sandow talks about he can't wait to get out of that town, and Cody Rhodes asked Sandow what he thought of Caitlyn, and Sandow gives a lengthy explanation that Caitlyn's a woman.
Yeah, well, at first he's like, "Oh, she's a fine competitive athlete," and he says, "No, what do you think of her as a woman?" He says, "Well, she made the best of coming from a limited gene pool," or something like that.
He basically said she's okay.
Yeah, she's okay for she's okay for an idiot, basically, is what he said. I don't know, I still can't believe they broke those two up. They should just put them back together as a tag team and let them run, because they're hilarious together. Fandango.
I still don't know who you guys are talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You get tickets from
Fandango.
Lillian fails, and then Booker T just tells
Okay,
Teddy
now
one.
Wait, no, hey, Lillian didn't fail. Jillian failed. I don't know if he meant this dude. I don't know if he meant to call her that or not, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he did mean to call her Jillian. But she looked really confused.
Oh, it's because they can't get his name right. So you know what? Why bother getting her name right?
Well, if he wants to insult her, he should just hire Charlie Haas to run into her.
Oh.
Sheamus, Big Show had a match, and the show ended pretty much the same way as last week. Just swap Sheamus with Randy Orton.
Yep.
That's SmackDown.
It was
A show on Fridays, taped
yeah,
on Tuesdays.
Couple good wrestling matches, but ultimately very inconsequential.
Once again, not
like a
doing a
normal
good job
SmackDown.
to tell you that WrestleMania is coming in a couple weeks.
No, the only time that they let you know that WrestleMania is coming is when they they replay video clips from Raw that talk about WrestleMania coming.
Well, no, because they
Actually,
talk about
I think Del Rio pointed at the WrestleMania sign.
anytime Swagger and Del Rio were brought up, WrestleMania was brought up. But they're slowly building to whatever kind of six-man tag between Shield and whoever else.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, the world title match isn't even the big match being hyped up on SmackDown right now.
No,
I mean, that match is lucky to headline. Those guys are lucky to headline the first hour. The main event angle right now on SmackDown is the Shield versus what looks like it's going to be Sheamus, Orton, and Big Show.
So here's a question: as far as that, is this the 6-man tag match that Shield finally loses?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. Yes.
No.
Why? Why? Yes, Howard.
It just makes sense. They've been winning and winning and winning, or I guess they could win maybe with a conflict between them because Big Show's a heel. I don't know. I just think they will because they've gone on a little too long by WWE standards of going on a winning streak.
Why no?
Because this is going to be the beginning of Sheamus versus the Sheamus versus Orton feud. After this match, they're not going to win this match, and that's how the feud is going to start.
So you think that the result of this match is more for turning Orton heel?
Yes.
It's not something where Shield will win because of Big Show being a heel on a face team?
No.
Fair enough.
Mm.
And with those two arguments, Helmick, where do you stand?
Well, I'm leaning toward the Shield winning, because Timothy is on the writing team, so he's got a leg up over all of us.
He's on the Impact writing team.
Yeah, but all those guys talk. Yeah,
I do.
They all know each other, but I just think that with all the baby faces you'll probably end up having win at WrestleMania, you got to have some type of heel win. And if you're going to have a heel win, I would think that the Shield would probably be a good bet for it. You can always protect Sheamus or Orton or Big Show by playing up the fact that their teamwork sucks. You can have them even fight each other during the match. So I think it'll be one of the ways that they can book around having a heel win at WrestleMania and not completely deflate the crowd.
If that's the case, what do you think the Shield's comeuppance is going to be? Like, when do you expect it? Because at some point it's coming.
Yeah, it is, and what I expect, and I know it may sound, jaded or cliche or whatever, but what I really do see happening eventually is John Cena beating them in a gauntlet match after he has the title back.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Shield will be able to come out and say, "Oh, we beat Cena here, we deserve a title shot," and then they'll be like, "Oh, which one?" And they'll say, "Oh no, we didn't say one. We said we all deserve a title shot." And I think that'll eventually be the comeuppance for the Shield. Will be John Cena beating all three of them in a gauntlet match. You're going to have to do something between now and next WrestleMania when Cena and Rock have their rubber match.
Don't say that. Just don't. Don't. Don't do it. Take that back.
All right, I'll take it back, but just for you.
It's fine.
Just because I like you.
No.
But the loser would have to wear a condom.
Though I've heard early talk is they're conflicted whether they want Brock versus Rock to be at SummerSlam or WrestleMania 30. So.
I'd say go ahead and book her for WrestleMania at this point.
Yeah. I'd be okay with it. I'm kind of stuck because it seems like WWE is very high on the Shield. Which is why they're getting all these wins. And I feel like the comeuppance has to be like a team that finally forms and takes them out, not getting squashed by one single guy. I feel like
I agree. What you're saying makes a lot more sense.
I feel like the comeuppance is like, yeah, we've beaten all the big guys. We've beaten Ryback. We've beaten Cena. We've beaten, we've beaten Ryback. We've beaten Cena. We've beaten Sheamus. We've beaten Jericho. We've beaten Orton. We've beaten Big Show. All that.
Here's the next step, though, for them. Tag team champions. That would be the next step. It'll get the tag titles off of Kane and Bryan, which is pretty much about time for them to be no longer.
Yeah.
And you know who I think are the best suited to eventually beat them? And no one's going to like this, I think. The newly formed team of Brodus Clay and Sweet Tea.
I actually don't think that's what they're being groomed for.
No, but you asked for a cohesive unit that was formed,
Oh
and
no,
I
it
thought of
doesn't have
that.
to
I
be.
thought of them
It
immediately.
doesn't have to be a cohesive unit. It just has to be a three-man team that's finally put together to take them out. And I honestly feel with the latest contract announcement that it could be a three-man team involving two people in The Rock. The Rock signed to compete at
Yeah.
Extreme Rules.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
The Rock has been attacked by S.H.I.E.L.D. and has not gotten comeuppance yet.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know.
So,
What I would really like to
so
see in a perfect world would be, like another set of young guys from NXT come up, and then you can have, those guys. You can have the Shield get those guys over, as being legitimate threats where they could say that they did what nobody else could do and, and defeat the Shield. But I think I didn't know that Rock was signed to wrestle at Extreme Rules.
They
so
just
wait. So what about title rematches? That just getting tossed aside?
I don't think The Rock is good. I don't think The Rock and Cena are going to have a title rematch at Extreme Rules.
That would be my only question as to why.
I mean, in normal wrestling logic, yes, Extreme
Yeah,
Rules
and
would
that's
be
that's
that.
what I'm solely basing it on.
I don't think it. I don't think that match files under. Like, I don't think John Cena versus Rock 3 is what WWE wants for Extreme Rules.
No, they wouldn't use it at Extreme Rules. They would save it for probably another Mania, if anything.
I think
if they were to even do a third one.
I think those two and maybe one other person could be the three-man team that takes out the Shield. I could.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see the night after Mania being an exchange of respect between the two, and then the Shield attacks them. And then that leads to those two agreeing to tag together, find a third man, and take on the Shield.
You know what? They could bring their whole tag team saga full circle and recruit the Miz as their third guy, and then the Miz can make up for that Survivor Series.
They could do the Miz. If Del Rio's still champion, I could see them putting Del Rio in it, and I could see that being the the comeuppance match that sends the crowd home happy. Cena looks strong. The Rock looks strong. Going away for God knows how long until SummerSlam. So, but yeah, he apparently has signed through to Extreme Rules. But who knows? We'll see. It's way too early to tell. I mean, other than Rock versus Cena 2, we don't really know what the guaranteed outcome is for the other match. I mean, obviously, we know Undertaker will win. We know Cena will win. Outside of that, I think there's some up in the air things. So, who knows? We'll see. I think that's it then.
I got nothing else.
All right.
Neither do I.
So, tomorrow night on Digital Reload, we may have a more cohesive show. I don't know.
Doubtful.
It might happen.
I know. We're still going to be talking about death.
Cohesion is overrated.
I'm going to see if Brett is ready for a Tomb Raider review, because I beat the story mode already. And we played a decent amount of the multiplayer. So I'll see where Brett stands as far as readiness for a review. As far as that goes. So we may have a Tomb Raider review tomorrow, and some sort of wrestling, or not wrestling, video game topic. Don't know yet what it will be. Also stay tuned, because sometime this week we will announce DigitalDailyFix.com's March Madness tournament for 2013. We've already announced the theme, which is the franchise free-for-all. But we have not released the bracket. We have not released the full list of participants, so that will happen. I just got to get scheduling down. I know what dates NCAA is doing their tournaments, and that's kind of like that's what I like to mimic to some degree, with the goal of our tournament begins the same day and it ends the same day as NCAA. So I gotta just get that in line to fit, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, that announcement should be sometime this week. And that's all I can think of as far as my stuff to push. So there we go.
Yep.
I think I need that one. Anything else before we get out of here, ladies and gentlemen? Anything else?
Nope.
All right, kids. Be sure to check out digitaldailyfix.com and all its usual offerings of various podcasts, articles, and videos. And we'll see you next week for another episode of The Chinlock. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
Padre